Hey guys, welcome back to Digging Deeper. You guys are in store for something special today. This is part 2 with Pastor Blake Booth from Tougher Than Hell Church. And we're going to get to hear some really cool things and get to finish sort of that vision that he had of the valley. And I got to tell you, man, if you're a Hemet resident or a San Jacinto resident, you're living in a special place. And if you're not and you're listening somewhere else, I hope you're a little jealous, and I hope you want to join us.
Yeah,
so,
that's good.
So that's a great segue, by the way, because
awesome.
you joined us on Sunday night.
Wow, it was
for
wild.
our 8th community-wide worship and prayer night.
Just wild.
And you came in, a little late. You're a new dad. That's a whole story in itself. But you came in a little bit late, and then and your reaction was classic, man. It was awesome.
It was a blessing. I was not prepared. I've been invited to so many of these. I can't even tell you. People are like, come be a part of our pastor's fellowship or our prayer nights, and I'm like, I've been to 1,000 of them. I grew up in church. I was the revival kid, the revival brat that slept under the chairs. Yeah. So when people invite me to that kind of stuff, you have to admit, I'm like, another one.
Not another one.
So I was like, but I liked you. You were super nice, and I was like, okay, this guy's a super nice guy. Let's just go and pray with like 10 people. So when I showed up and I couldn't find a parking spot, I'm like, what's going on? What is going on? And then I showed up and everybody's in there with their bawling their eyes out, their hands up, and you're like, I'm in. This is awesome. Right? The Spirit of God's here. Let's rock. So,
man. Yeah, you said that to me afterwards. You're like, holy cow, man.
Dude.
I had no idea what I was coming into.
It was amazing. And you know what?
These are Hemet people.
Hemet people, man. And multiple denominations. So great. My grandfather was an evangelist for 70 years, and he would always talk to me about the 6 great moves of God that fell on America. And he told me, he said, Blake, there's a 7th coming. And he said it's going to be unlike any other move of God there has ever been. Every great move of God has been preceded and set forth by either a denomination or a personhood, a personality. And the thing that was the impression was that this revival was going to be different in that there was going to be no persona behind it. There was going to be no denomination to stake its claim to it. And I really believe it's going to be...
No Billy Graham. Yeah. No Chuck Smith or Greg Laurie.
Yeah, and no shade to them. They did great works. There's no shade for anything.
Well, and for all, I mean, Greg Laurie's still preaching, so maybe I shouldn't have used his name. Yeah. But that idea, like the
great works of God
movement.
But God's going to use 1,000, 1,000,000 nameless, faceless parts of his army.
Wow.
To go pray with the modern day woman and man and child, and the revival is going to break forth that way. That's my personal belief, and we're seeing it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's amazing.
Wild,
yeah.
I've been preaching through the Book of Acts on Sundays,
amazing.
and
awesome.
I love it, man. It's been a wild, fun journey.
So, are you doing chapter by chapter, or what are you doing?
So no, I mean, I'm just taking a chunk, and it's like and I'm trying to divide it up in a way that's easy,
palpable.
Verse by verse, chapter by chapter. We're just going through it, But one of the things that I said recently in church was that the Book of Acts is still being written.
Right.
So the acts of the followers of Jesus are still being recorded in the annals of heaven.
Wow.
And so here we are, and we are part of this great movement of God.
Right.
It's the church, and the church is rising. I mean, I feel this, man. Like the church is rising, and there's this movement, and we're privileged to be alive during this time.
Absolutely.
And we're a part of this great movement of God. And I'm with you, Blake. I really believe that God still has another revival up his sleeves, man.
Come on.
And I think it's happening. I'm seeing it. I had a chance to meet some of your church members recently.
Really?
That I knew from way back in the day.
Wow.
And so one fellow, and I won't use his name just for whatever reasons, but I don't want to do that. But I knew him. I used to work at a group home out in Chino. Yeah. He was a resident there. And then he just recently got married, and then one of his buddies was at the wedding.
Come on.
And I was working for West Valley High School. This was like 12 or 15 years ago now.
Wow.
And he was a student there, and he's like, "Hey, do you remember me?" And I was like, honestly, no, I don't remember you, bro. Yeah. And he's like, "Well, I was in so-and-so's class," and he's like, "Yeah, man, I remember you." And and so anyway, so we were chatting, talking, and he's like, "Dude, I went off the rails, man. I just went off the rails, and my life was a mess, man. And I just recently came to God, and he's changed my life." And he's like, "I went through this program. It was incredible. Like, it changed my whole life." And I'm like, "Hey, dude, when was that? Like, when did this happen?" He's like, "July 1st. This was like 6 weeks ago.
Wow. Yeah,
I'm like, bro. Like, whoa, man. Like, God's working. And so he's
totally.
I mean, just watching the power of God working in the lives of people.
100%.
And man, what an exciting time to be alive.
What an exciting time.
And what better place, man?
Dude, Hemet.
Yeah, it is like Nineveh, man. Like, we're in Nineveh, man.
Yeah. And once God changed my heart on that and showed me, it's like, dude, like you get to be one of the draft picks to go take on a city like that. Dude, then I was honored. It's like, oh, dude, freaking like let's go do it. But let's take it serious. Let's not just go and be frivolous about it. Let's take it serious.
Well, I love that perspective, by the way. I love that. One of the draft picks. Yeah. Because, you know, look, I mean, if you can see the world through spiritual eyes, this is a stronghold, man.
Totally.
I mean, this place is owned by, historically it's been owned by the enemy. He's set up camp here. He is impacting the lives of people. He's dragging people into hell. I mean, this is a...
Well, and by California statistics, the year that I came, because I was like looking it up, it met every metric for one of the top 10 worst cities in California.
Well, I read an article several years ago, and Hemet made the list of the top 10 worst cities. It
was crazy. So like, and we've got amazing new city councilors that have done made amazing strides and done stuff. And so we've come off the list, which is amazing. Yeah. But when I came down here, I was like, it was on every single list. Like there was like 4 or 5 agencies that made this list, and it was on every one of their lists.
God, you called me to the worst.
And I'll never forget it. So I was like, God, I don't want to raise my family there. And then we couldn't find a place. I'm like, okay, cool. There's no openings in the end. Like there's no way to get there. And then my wife found one room. So we come down, we get the apartment, we move to Hemet, and literally the first day I'm walking out after we've moved in, and I've got like 3 little kids. I'm walking over to the car, and there's literally a guy handing crack through out a window to a guy, and he's exchanging cash right in front of my door, and I'm like,
welcome home.
I'm like, thank you, Jesus. So,
oh man, that's wild.
Pretty crazy, yeah.
But you know, those are the people that Jesus was drawn to. I mean, that's where he spent his time.
Totally.
You know, I've said this before. I think if Jesus showed up in America today, he probably wouldn't be found in most churches on a Sunday morning.
Probably.
Just wouldn't be. Where would he be? I mean, he'd be out with the people. Yep. He'd be on the streets. He might be in a strip club. He might be, he's a radical guy.
Right.
He was condemned for it by the religious people. And so we gotta figure this thing out and look at it from a different angle, man.
100%, without a doubt.
Because our God is the kind of God that would go into those dark places of the world, and he's
just undaunted by it. He's unfazed by it. There's no fear. Yeah. You know what I mean? There's so much fear in regards to like going to a dark place and being in a dark place, or being around drug dealers, or being around like the lowest of the low. And there's just like, when you understand what the light is, dude, it's undaunted. It's unfazed by darkness.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
And I think so. I think that's one of the biggest problems of the church right now is like we are fazed by darkness. We're terrified of evil, and it's like, dude, it's either at his knee or at his name, every knee bows and every tongue confesses, or it's not.
Right.
And it's like, and if that's the truth, dude, then rep like every other biblical hero ever and approach it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So with boldness, right?
Right. 100%.
Yeah. Man, this is fun, Blake.
Dude, it's super great.
We got to do this again, man.
I'm down. So tell me about your service. Tell me, you got biblical heroes. You're talking about biblical heroes.
Yeah. So we've been on the subject of kingdom heroes, and
kingdom heroes.
And you know, we've been sort of walking through the book of Acts, because Acts is filled with sort of heroes and characteristics of heroes. And, and so we're just on this incredible journey of discovering sort of what it means to be an Acts kind of a church.
Come on.
You know, and so and God's rewriting sort of the story, I think, in each of our lives. I mean, he's helping us to try to live that out, and I think it's challenging a lot of people in our church. It's you know, our church, Bible Fellowship Church, has experienced its heyday, and many people would look at our church and say, "Yeah, the best is behind you." You know, and for me, I'm new here, and I'm like, "Nope, dude, nope." I'm like, "All right, Lord, the 100%. Best is not behind us. Right. We're gonna redo this thing. We're gonna retool. We're gonna re-equip. We got a new people to reach. We got a new community, and the best is in front. And look, the best days of BFC are tomorrow, man. They're in front of us.
100%.
They're not behind us. And so we're gonna get out there. Yeah. We're gonna conquer this world for Jesus. We have a valley to reach. We have a people to reach. We've got shares to fill, man. We've got. I mean, it's just you know. So, kingdom heroes. The idea behind it, honestly, Blake, is that every follower of Jesus is a kingdom hero.
Yeah.
Now the question is are you going to live like it?
Right.
And what does that mean?
Yeah.
And so here we are, man. We're living it. We're learning. We're growing.
That's a good word. Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, it's exciting. Anyways, we're going to wrap this up, man. But I just want to thank you guys for joining us today. This has been amazing. And let us know if you want to have Pastor Blake back. I'm already giving it a thumbs up, man. And so, but it's been a privilege.
I appreciate you having me, man.
Yeah. And so thank you guys again. God bless you guys. We hope to see you again real soon.
Damn, way to go, bro. Nice.
Thanks, man.
Awesome.